I'm Stephanie, and this is Vern the Explorer, 1981 GMC G2500. I've owned for 2 years now, and I've lived in it for 4 months full time. And starting now, it will be another 8 months full time until the winter time, maybe longer. So this is my kitchen. Luckily, I have a 4-burner stovetop. I really only ever use one though. I have my Coleman furnace that my dad fixed up for me. I don't want to turn it on right now. This is my little power station here. So I have hooked up to 12 volt and 110, and I have all my extension cords. I pull it through here. I have a little fuse box as well. So I have an RV battery hooked up in the back here. It's under the seat. I have a switch that I can charge off my alternator actually. So I just press this little on switch here, and as I'm driving, I can charge my battery. Also, I have a 100-watt solar system that I hook up in the summertime and I put up on my roof or wherever. I don't have a designated area for it right now. I have a sink in here that rarely gets used as well. I had 17 plants, and then driving across the country when -30 killed all of my plants. So my mom actually just bought me one little one. Got one little plant left. So I have a little water system. This is stuff that I use for like my kitchen water, like washing and stuff like that. I do have water jugs and like a Culligan set up, but it's at my parents' room right now. That's what I use for my drinking water and my pet's drinking water, because I do have a cat and a dog that lives in here as well. Underneath here, I have a 1,000-watt inverter system. I did have a 400-watt, but my dad hooked me up and gave me a little more juice for the winter time, so I can run this little heater here. This is like max 150, I think, so it's very low wattage. I also under here have my outside stove, because I rarely cook in my van. I'd rather cook outside, especially like meals, bacon and stuff like that. A grill and a burner. It's definitely very dirty, gets used lots. All of my storage is in here. I made myself a little pull-out table. Right in here was a fridge, but I never used the fridge. It was a 3-way fridge, but I never used it. We just used it as an ice box. So I just removed the whole cabinetry from here, took the sink off, put it in there, removed the fridge, took all of the original cabinets as well, and reiterated it into there. I like to use all of the original stuff. Like, I didn't want to get rid of any of this stuff. Like, how cool is it? All in the inside of the cabinets too are all carpeted as well. See, all of my stuff is in here. This is all of like my washroom stuff. I have lots of like arts and crafts things I do. All of my travel books are in here. But this is my cool thing, is my shower system. So, right above your head actually is my hula hoop. I have a shower curtain that I hang up here, and I have a little kiddie pool that goes down here. And then I bought this awesome little gadget off of Amazon. It's a water pump, essentially. So I boil my water on my stovetop, stick my pump in there, hook up my shower to here, and then I have a shower. And then it's awesome because I left a little drain hole. There's a little hole in my floor, so I just drain it through the hole. I only use biodegradable products as well. I have camp soap that I bought. This stuff is awesome for everything. I also have my little magnetic strip for my knives and whatever else I need up here. Lots of hooks. Need lots of hooks for when you're camping. Things like to dangle. This is where I store all my plates. And then this is my food. My little pantry. Keep it nice and stocked. Whoop! Very stocked. I installed this recently just to help with the cold. Just a little divider in the front. My mom and I remade all the cushions. They were all original when I bought it, and they were falling apart and they were squishy, so I just put 4-inch high density foam and denim covers, which helps with the pet hair and with the blocking out the curtains as well, for privacy and for heat. In the winter time as well, I put up these in your windows to help. Helps a lot, because this van isn't very well insulated. And then this turns into a double bed, which cozy fits me and my dog and my cat. I don't really use the electricity in here for much, just for charging my phone for the lights, and that's about it. Playing music every once in a while. But I'm pretty off-grid where I don't use anything. Like, it's pretty nice. So this is the rest of my life in here. It's my snowboard, my blow-up paddleboard, This is all my clothes. I have a sewing machine in here, just stuff that I might use. I have my axe, a chair, umbrella. There's a toilet down there that's never been used, but you never know. You might need it. My dirt biking boots, snowboarding boots, just everything. I love the back portion of this van. I wanted to extend the bed before, but you can't say no to more storage, especially when you're living in a van. So I have a 1975 DT 125, so it's a small motorcycle, but the weight on the back was too much. So putting it inside was much better, but now I got the rear end fixed. I'm going to take it for a test drive and see how the bike will fit on the back again. Also, I do have 2 table setups. I have one in the back there, and I custom made this one for the front. I just went to a Wreckers and they had an old RV there, and I was like, can I take a look? He said, sure. Found these couple things, modified this myself. It's a little bit shorter just for the front because I was going to make it into a spare bed. It's not fully on there yet, but if you have the seats back and you put a little cushion over there, you can actually have another person sleeping there too. And then there's a full-size table for in the back. There, right now the other table is under my bed. But I also have my spare alternator, some spare shocks, because you never know what's gonna happen with these vans. I've always been nomadic in nature. Since I moved out of my parents' house when I was like 19, I've lived in a different place every year. So I figured moving into a van just cuts out the rent and I can travel wherever I want to go. And it's just more free. I don't have to come home at a certain time or be a certain way, make sure neighbors don't hear you or things like that. I like to be able to get up and go. I picked a camper van because honestly, when I was 5 years old, my dad had bought a Volkswagen Westphalia from this lady. And it's a camper van with a pop-up top. We still have it in the family. My dad gave it to me when I was 16. And I just found everything's built in, everything's there for you. You don't have to modify anything. And I love the old retro style. I've always loved old vehicles, and that's just me. I knew I wanted one when I grew up. I wanted one for my future family if I ever had one. And that van I still have, because who knows, if I want to put that one on the road too, I'm still torn. Like, I love that other van too. But it's Vern for now, because Vern is the vehicle that will get me through, I think. Very reliable GMC motor, very reliable. There's definitely a lot of upkeep to an older vehicle. Thankfully, I'm handy, and my grandfather was a mechanic, so he had a bunch of old GMC Chevy vans as well, and I'm very good at tinkering with things. You just really have to know what to tinker with. It's much easier with no computers. There's no manual anything. I guess I have cruise control. I didn't even know I had cruise control until this trip. So it's just finding parts might be harder. Like the rear axle for my van, it took them a good day and a half to find a van for a donor part. So if you have an old vehicle and you have space for another one, buy a parts van. Definitely buy a parts van. I think some of the benefits are that you can wake up somewhere different every day. I don't know, some people might not like that, but around here, there's a different lake every day you can go to, a different river, a different spot. You can even hunker down in a parking lot if you want to, and you have nowhere else to go. It's just the freedom to move and have your whole life with you. It's kind of scary at times. I would leave my van and be like, oh no, something might happen, but at the same time, I don't have much material things. So everything that I have with me means a lot to me, but at the same time, if it were to disappear, if my van got stolen, I wouldn't be too upset about it. There's big financial benefits not paying rent, but at the same time, I have a dog that has to go to the kennel, so I have to weigh out paying fees to go to the dog kennel. So that's one big thing. It might be the same amount in rent, so I'm trying to figure out a way that my dog can come to work with me most of the time. I can do oil changes myself. I can do most of the maintenance myself, which is nice. The gas prices right now are just through the roof. In an old vehicle like this, it's now $200 to fill a tank. So that's a financial decline, I guess. Parking can be a challenge. especially on the weekends if you go to a provincial park and there's nowhere to park. And then you have to keep driving and then keep driving, and then you find somewhere on the side of the road that might not be ideal, but that's the thing, it's only temporary, right? You go somewhere else the next day. I think to be in the lifestyle of living in your van, you have to be prepared for challenges as well. When it storms and you have a leak or you run out of gas, make sure you have a jerry can. You just have to make sure that you're adaptable and you're open to meeting totally different people on the road, and you're ready for things. And I like to be ready and prepared. Right now, when I moved back across the country, I thought I had somewhere to park. And I don't, technically, and just right now it's really cold and I'd like to have power. And right now, none of the campgrounds are open and there's nowhere for me to park. So I've reached out to people in their driveways. I've had a couple of people say I can park in their driveways. So that's been the biggest challenge so far. It's just because it's cold. But once it gets warm again, I can just go. Go wherever. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned what I can and can't take personally from people, and challenges with driving too far, too long, stuff like that. I have become more open to other people, I guess, even though I feel more recluse. It's like a solo thing, but you reach more people too. There's lots of people out there that you can ask for help and you meet along the way. I've become more adaptable for the things. I eat lots more different food. Like I've become more essentially vegan, vegetarian. I don't eat lots of meat anymore just because storing it, like you don't have much space. So I'd rather eat things that don't go bad in the fridge. So things like that. My personal philosophy on life: live and let be. Just do your thing and let others do their thing, because that's the most beautiful thing about life, is we're all doing our own thing. I'm just going to continue this lifestyle as well. Like, I couldn't imagine living in a house again. This lady offered me her 5-bedroom house for rent, and I was like, can I just park in your driveway? I don't need anything more than this. This is all I need. I like to be inconvenienced, because I like to think through things. I don't like the conveniences of the city life anymore. So I like to fix things, and I like to meet other people that can teach me things too. I think learning is the biggest thing you can do in life. So there's lots to learn on the road too. My cat is 17 and he sleeps all day. The first day in the van, he meowed and meowed and meowed. And then he just got so settled in, he doesn't want to leave the van anymore. I put him on a little harness so he can walk around outside and stuff like that. And I take him to work with me. My boss loves him. And my dog too, like, they don't make a mess or anything like that. Like, I usually have my litter box back here when it's all set up. And I use like the non-clay litter. It doesn't smell. You scoop it every day. It's not a big deal. Just like the dog poop too. And they really keep me company. It's definitely, they're my little adventure buddies. So if I don't meet anybody on the road, I still got my dog and my cat. And I like to take them, like my dog, to work too, because I'm a marine mechanic, so I'm able to like just bring her out in the yard with me, and she loves it. She loves to go to a different lake every day and go fishing with me and stuff like that too. And all the different dogs and stuff that she meets as well. It's really cool. And there's definitely enough room in here for all three of us. Vern the Explorer is my Instagram page. That's pretty much it right now. I'm not the biggest social media person, but I know I will get on it because I live in paradise and you can't take a bad picture out here. So yeah, Vern the Explorer.
If you would like to be featured on different media, there's a form you can fill out to be on the podcast or to have your van toured. And if you're interested in watching more alternative dwelling tours like this, we upload every single Sunday. So hit subscribe, and new Van Life and Chill podcasts every Thursday. Thanks everyone for watching.